Hello everyone, I'm Piyush. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we will see how to file federal taxes without any agent or without any softwares. Many universities in the US use software such as Glacier, or they provide you some discount code with Sprint Tax, but many other universities don't have that, or you don't want to pay anyone and you want to do it manually by yourself. This video will help you do that. Only see this video if you are a non-resident alien studying in the US and you only earned your income through W2. So all of your income is included in the W2 and not any other income such as dividend income or any other. I haven't had any other income except the W2, so it will be unfair for me to talk about any other incomes apart from W2. So make sure you only have W2 income if you are watching this video. And I am an Indian citizen, so I will use the India-US tax treaty. So if you are a citizen of some other country, make sure you watch it up and fill it carefully. And this video is only for people who have earned income in the financial year 2022. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. The tax season is here. It's only around 15 days to go for the deadline. Make sure you fill it before that and mail it to the government to avoid paying any penalties. The very first step to start your tax filing is obtaining your W2. W2 is a basic document that states how much income you earned for the financial year 2022, and this is an essential document to get started with your tax filing. If you work with Aramark, I have made a separate video, you can see it here, or your university might have their own accounts and you can log in using that. For Purdue, it uses ADP, and I have also made a separate video for that, you can see it here. So once you obtain your W2, the next steps are to download your forms and get started with that. I'm not a tax professional, I'm just a student like you all, and this is how I filled my forms and sent it to the IRS, so you can definitely make use of that. But still, if you have any other doubts or you had any other kind of income, so make sure you report it on the form. This video won't cover that, but you can contact any tax administrator at your university or contact any paid agent if you want, if you had any other income, to make sure that you don't make any error in the forms. Basically, just to give you a gist, there are total 3 forms that you have to submit to the IRS. One is the form 1040 NR. So for residents or citizens of the US, the form is named 1040, but for us, for the non-residents in the US, it is 1040 NR. The NR stands for non-resident alien. So if you stayed in the US less than 5 calendar years, you are most probably a non-resident alien. If you just started out and just came here for your master's or PhD, you will be considered a non-resident alien. So you have to use this 1040 NR form. This is the main form for the tax filing, so make sure you fill it correctly. This will show all the wages that you earned and the refund you might expect in your bank account. So this is the main form for our tax filing. There is a tax treaty between US and many other countries around the world. You can check it on Google or on the IRS website. I am an Indian citizen, so I know that there is a tax treaty between India and US where we can use a standard deduction of around 13,000. What that means is, suppose you earned an income of 13,000 in any given year, and you can just deduct this amount and make your taxable income as zero. What that basically means is you are not entitled to pay any taxes to the government. Any taxes that might be cut from your pay slips will be refunded back to you, so that is a great thing. Many countries have tax treaties, so you can definitely search it up and find it easily if there's any. If you started working in the year 2023, you won't have to fill the tax filing for the last year. But still, if you are present in the US in the year 2022, you are required to fill a form. I have made a separate video where you can see what to do if you had no income for the last year. You can definitely check it out. The next form is Schedule OI. The OI stands for other information. So we are using a tax treaty, so this form is useful for that and you need to fill this form. The third form is Form 8843. This is required for each and everyone, whether you earned the income in 2022 or not. This is a visa compliant form and the IRS has made it mandatory for all the visa holders to fill this form if you are on F1, F2, J1 or J2 visa. So now I will share my screen and let's get into our tax filing. So we will start with the main form, that is Form 1040 NR PDF, and go to the first link here and download the form. So this is how it looks like. It's a fillable form, so you can just fill it as you go. So it's already for the year 2022, so you don't need to fill this. You can just select your filing status, that is single, your first name and initial, and your last name. Here you can enter your social security number or ITIN. Here enter your home address, so just make sure you enter the address that you are currently staying in. This is the mailing address. This can be different from your W2, so you just enter your present address here, your city, your apartment number, state and zip code. You can leave this portion blank if you entered a US address. The next question is digital assets. It asks, at any time during 2022 did you receive, sell, exchange or dispose a digital asset? So for me it was no. If it's yes, then unfortunately I won't be able to answer how to proceed with that, but for me it was no, so I will click on no. So they tell that you can see the instructions. The form 1040 NR has a separate instruction sheet, so maybe you can just go through it and select yes and see where you have to enter the amount. The next is dependents. You can leave this portion blank if you didn't have any dependents. So now coming to the first line 1A, it asks for the total amount from forms W2 box 1. So you can just remove your W2 and add your total income from your W2. So you might have one income, you might have two income, you have to combine both of them and enter the absolute total in this box. So if you only add one W2, that will be an easier task. If you had multiple W2s, you just have to add the numbers and enter the total wages from the box 1. So for me it was 4313.16. Enter the exact amount, don't round it off. So I didn't have any income from 1B up till 1H. You can just read through it, but I hope most of the students won't have any of these. So you can move to the line K, which is total income exempt by treaty. So there's a treaty between India and US, but it will be applied later. So in this portion we have to enter 0, enter 0.00, and then coming to line Z, it asks for adding lines 1A through 1H. So 1A through 1H is nothing but the first amount, so you can just enter the same amount right here. Again, assuming that you didn't have any interest, any dividends or any distributions. For me, I had a dividends of $9, but it's a rule by the IRS that you only have to report if your dividend for any given year is $10 or more. So if it's under $10, you don't need to worry about it, but if it's more than 10, then you have to include it in the dividend section. I didn't have any pensions or any other things. The seventh line is for capital gain. If you sold any stocks for a profit or a loss, you can enter it here. Again, for me it was no, so I'm assuming no one has this income. If you have this income, then you have to consult your tax administrator or any other person to make sure you are doing it correctly. So other income, we don't have any other income, we can enter it as 0.00. The line 9 is simply the addition of 1Z, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 7 and 8. So basically it is the addition of all of these. So we don't have anything, so we will just enter the same amount. Again, from schedule 1 we don't have any, so we will enter 00. Just make sure that you don't have any of these amounts. As I mentioned, if you only did part-time for the year, this is how it will look like, but if you had any other incomes apart from part-time, make sure that you consult your administrator and follow the proper process. I only had part-time income. I didn't sell any stocks or didn't get dividends more than $10, so it was an easy process for me, and if you fall in the same category it will be easy for you, so you can just follow the steps. In 10D it asks enter the amount from line 10A, so you can copy it as it is, that is 0.00. For line 11 it is subtracting line 10D from line 9, so subtracting 0 from this, so again the amount is the same. So the line 12, if you read it, it's itemized deductions, or for certain residents of India standard deduction. So here you have to enter a text box. You can enter a text box saying, you just have to write standard deduction and write US India income tax treaty. You can just place this box right here. You can increase the font size. And place it right here. So the amount for the standard deduction for the year 2022 is 12,950. So you enter that amount here, 0.00. Again, you won't have anything here. It's only for business income deduction and exemptions for estates and trusts only. So moving to line 13C, it's just the addition of 13A and 13B, which is again 0.00. The line 14 is adding line 12 and line 13C. So it will be 12,950.00. Now you have to subtract line 14 from line 11. So subtract this value from line 11. So note that our income is less than this amount, so our answer will be negative. If it's negative, you just have to enter 0. They say it here that if 0 or less, enter 0. So you have to enter 0.00. So this is your taxable income. Because of the standard deduction, your taxable income is 0. So we'll move on to the next page. This is the tax. So the taxes here will be 0 because our taxable income is 0. Suppose your answer was greater than 0, you can just refer to the federal tax bracket according to which you can calculate your taxes. Suppose your tax bracket is 10% and your income is $100. So 10% of $100 is $10. So you can enter $10 right here. But the taxable income for me was 0. So I entered here 0. Again, amount from schedule 2, I didn't have any other income. So it's 0. Then we have to just add line 16 and 17, that is again 0. Child tax credit, we don't have any. Amount from schedule, again we don't have any. Add lines 19 and 20, which is again 0. Subtract lines 21 from line 18, which is again 0. 23A, tax on income not effectively connected with a US trade or business, should be again 0. The line 23D is simply addition of 23A through 23C, which is again 0.00. The 24 amount is adding 22 and 23D, which again is 0. Now coming on to the payments, again go to your form W2. You will see a box named Federal Income Tax Withheld. You can just see the amount and enter it right here. If you had two incomes, you just add both of them. If you had a single W2, it's just easier, you can just add the amount directly. For me it was 270.38. Again, my only income was from W2. Form 1099, it's 0, so I will enter 0. 25D is basically addition of 25A through 25C, which will be the same amount. It's 270.38. I didn't have any form 1042S. If you had any, again I will remind you that you can contact your tax administrator or any other agent. For me, I didn't have any, so I will enter it as 0.00. Next line is 2022 estimated tax payment, an amount applied from the last year tax return. So this was my first year filing my taxes, so the amount here will be again 0.00. Next, moving on to line 31, we don't have any of these, so we will move to line 31. Amount from schedule C should be again 0.00. Now you just have to add lines 28, 29 and 31. So 28, 29 and 31 is 0. So it's again 0. Add lines 25D up till line 32. So we have to basically add all of these, which is again just 270.38. So it asks if line 33 is more than line 24. So line 33 is more than line 24. So subtract line 24 from line 33. So our 33 line value is more than line 24. So we will just subtract 0 from 270, which is again 270.38. So this is the main amount. This is the amount that you overpaid to the government, and this is the amount that you will get your refund. This is the amount that will be refunded back to you in your account. So here you can just check the type of account you want your direct deposit in. So you can check checkings account, you can enter your routing number and account number. This is just the amount you owe, but we are getting a refund, so we will leave this portion blank. The next part is, do you want to allow another person to discuss the return with the IRS? So you can select it as no. And that's it for your form 1040NR. Now you just have to print it, you have to sign here, put the date that you will be mailing it to the IRS, your occupation will be student, you enter your phone number and enter your email address. Again, we didn't have any paid preparer, we prepared it ourselves, so this portion will also be blank. And that's it for your form. You just completed your main form, that is 1040NR. And now we just have two basic forms, that is schedule OI and form 8843. So let's move to the schedule OI. You can download schedule OI PDF, just schedule OI, and you can just download this form. Now you have to enter name shown on form 1040NR, that was in the format the first name, in middle initial and your last name. The identifying number will again be SSN or your ITIN number. So the first question is, of what country were you a citizen or national during the tax year? For me it was India, so I will enter India. The second question, in what country did you claim residence for tax purposes? Is again India, will be the same country as your country of citizenship. Have you ever applied to be a green card holder? Is no. Were you ever a US citizen? No. A green card holder of the United States? Again no. If you had a visa on the last day of the tax year, enter your visa type. So I was a F1 student, I will just enter F1 student. Have you ever changed your visa type? So for me it was only F1 and I am still an F1 student, so I will enter no. The next section is listing all the dates you entered and left the United States during 2022. So I came in the US in 2021, so that date will not be included because it is specific for the year 2022. After coming in the US in December 2021, I went back to India. I departed on 10th May 2022 to India, so I will enter this date. I can just add a text box stating 05 10 2022. So I will just place this box right here. I entered back in the US on 19th August 2022. Enter the date in the second row. Again I will enter a text box. I will enter the date as 08 19 2022. I will just drag this box on the second row. So that's it for your box. This is only if you were a resident of Canada or Mexico, or else you can leave it blank. The next question, you have to give the number of days you were present in the United States. So I only came in 2021, so for 2020 it will be 0. So for the year 2021 I came in the US on 28 December, so it will be 28, 29, 30, 31, that is 4 days. And for 2022 I went back to India for 3 months, so you can just calculate the number of days and enter it here. So I entered for around 3 months, so my total days present in the US was 265. I can enter it right here. The next question is, did you file a US income tax return for any prior year? So again, this was my first year, so I will enter it no. If you had filed your income tax return for any prior year, you enter yes and give the latest year and the form number you filed. Next is, are you filing a return for a trust? You can enter no. Did you receive total compensation of $250,000 or more during the tax year? Should be most probably no. Next is, enter the name of country, applicable tax treaty and number of months you claimed the treaty benefit. So again, if you remember, we mentioned the India-US tax treaty separately, and in schedule OI we entered the value as 0. So you just skip all these boxes and enter 0.00 right here. I'm not sure about the other countries, but this is how you do it for India. You just enter it separately, the standard deduction for US-India tax treaty, like this portion blank, and just enter 0.00 right here. You don't have to enter anything in these boxes, you can leave it blank. For the next portion, again this has to be blank. You can just read through it, but for most of the international students it should be no. If it's applicable to you, you can take this, otherwise you can just leave it blank. That's it for your schedule OI. We completed yet another form. We are just remaining with the form 8843. So let's move to the next form. 8843 PDF. We'll get that from the IRS website. This is the form. Let's download it. So when you open that, you can see this form. You can fill it. So you have to keep this blank because this is already for the year 2022. Keep this portion blank. Enter your name and initial, that will be and your last name and your SSN number or ITIN number. So for the first line, you have to enter the type of US visa and the date you entered in the US. So if you are a F1 student, you enter F1 and you enter the date that you entered in the US. So I came on 28 December 2021, so I will enter that date in the month, date, year format. Enter your current immigration status. So if you are a F1 student, enter F1 student. Enter your country of citizenship. I am from India, so I will enter India. Which country issued your passport? It's again India. Enter your passport number. Enter the actual number of days you were present in the US. So I came in 2021 December. So for 2020 I will put 0. For 2021 it was 4 days for me. And for 2022 I went back to India for 3 months. So actual number of days present in the US was 265 for me. So I will enter 265. If you stayed the whole year, you can enter it as 365, or else if you went outside the US, you need to calculate that. You can see on the I-94, or you can calculate it based on the calendar. You can see the flight tickets and calculate the number of days accordingly. Enter the number of days in 2022 you can claim. You can exclude for the purposes of substantial present test. You can just enter this number as this number, the number of days you were actually present in the US in 2022. So it will be 265. So if you are a student, you have to leave the second part blank and move to the third part, that is for students. So here you have to enter the name, address and phone number of the institution. In the name, address and phone number of the director of the academic, you can access your I-20 and see the designated school official and enter the details accordingly. Address will be same as the one entered above. So coming to the 11th line, you enter the type of US visa you held during each of the years. So again I came only in 2021, so everything else will be blank. Enter F1 here. I don't know, I'm not able to enter the F1 here, so I can't type F1, so I can just insert a text box. I will write F1 and put it in 2021. I can change the size and put it as F1. So I'm done with this. I don't know if you guys might face the same problem, but enter F1 in the year 2021 and accordingly for all the years. So the 12th line is, were you present in the US as a teacher, train your student for more than 5 calendar years? It should be most probably no, so tick on this box. In the 13th question, they ask, did you apply for any resident status or to change your resident status as a lawful permanent resident? So again it should be no. We will move to the next page. The part 4, again you have to skip it as a student. Part 5 also you have to skip it if you didn't have any medical condition for the financial year. You just skip this whole 5th part and that's it for your form. You just have to print it. You can sign it here and put the date here. As you saw, tax filing is not that difficult. This is how I filled my forms. This is how my forms were filled using the Glacier software. My university offered that software, so these forms were generated for me, and this is how you can fill it manually and send it to the IRS. I sent these documents to the IRS, so you can do the same. The only condition is you had all of your income in W2, you earned income in the year 2022, and you are a non-resident alien for tax purposes. So after you have filled all these forms, just make sure you print your forms, you sign it, date it, and put all the basic information that is asked, and then mail it to the IRS. I have made a separate video where it will show where to send your tax documents to the IRS. You can definitely check it out. Quickly reminding you of all the documents that you need to mail it to the IRS. One is copy B of all the W2s that you had for the last year. The second is form 1040NR, which is the main form. The third is schedule OI, that is for other information, and the fourth is form 8843. You have to have all these documents in order and mail it to the IRS on their given address. That's it for your tax filing. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe my channel if you find my content useful. Share it with people who want to file their taxes manually. Thank you again for watching this video. Until next time.